show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Ant2.tv presents You and Your Doctor, teaching you to live a longer and healthier life. Proudly sponsored by All County Healthcare, where people are the heart of our business. All County Healthcare is a Medicare certified agency where one call will service all your home care health needs. For more information, call 954-717-7027 or visit our website, allcountyhealthcare.com. Now, let's get informed to living a longer and healthier life. Here is your host for today's show.
Welcome back to another episode of You and Your Doctor, sponsored by All County Healthcare. Our number is 954-717-7027. We're a Medicare home health care agency in Palm Beach County, Broward, and Miami-Dade. I'm your host, Louise Gomez. Welcome back. And today we have Dr. Nair, who his administrative offices are right here in Plantation, so 1776 North Pine Island Road, Suite 106 in Plantation, Florida, 33322. He is a mobile doctor, does house calls, comes directly to the patient. He can be reached at 954-540-2344. You can also email him to his liaison at lebrown@harmonycares.com. Welcome to the show, Dr. Nair.
Thank you, Lois. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming to the show. You know, I'm so intrigued with the mobile house calls. I feel like that's something like post-COVID or during COVID, like more and more.
It definitely has increased the popularity post-COVID, but again, we have been in business, like the Harmony Care Medical Group has been in business since 1993.
Wow.
Our corporate office in Michigan has been out there for more than 25 years. Our office in Fort Lauderdale, we've been there for 7 years, and I've been one of the providers since the birth of this office in Fort Lauderdale Plantation. We do have offices across every state, like Georgia, Atlanta, Texas, you name it. We are opening in New Jersey. Within Florida, we are, in Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa, Plantation.
Wow.
So we are pretty much, all nation, all, house-based.
Very impressive.
Primary care doctors that go to patients' home and then take care of them in their comfort, in their privacy, in their home setting.
So, as far as locally here in South Florida, where do you
go? So we service like the Tri-County area, like right from Homestead till the West Palm Beach end.
Wow.
So, we are a group of 4 providers and, 2 doctors, 2 nurse practitioners. So we typically see patients Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, from Homestead area till West Palm Beach. And we are available for our patient even after 5, till 10 for the respective providers for their patients, and we give them 24/7 coverage for all our patients.
I was going to ask you, what if it's 3 in the morning and
Exactly.
I don't know, something happens?
There's always going to be one doctor that will be on call for the state of Florida, and then every provider will cover their panel of patients till 10 at night.
Wow, that's good to know. So Dr. Nair, can you just tell our listeners and our viewers a little bit more about your experience, your education, background, residency, and a little bit more about your...
Sure, happy to do that.
Thank you.
I'm originally from India. I did my med school in Kerala. Growing up there and doing my med school, the amount of population of patients that we are exposed is like enormous.
Mm-hmm.
So in a typical day, like we would have to see at least close to 80 to 100 patients.
Wow.
That's just the minimum that we start with. So after my med school, I kind of worked as primary care physician, taking ER calls, being a resident medical officer for a multi-specialty hospital for 2 years. After that, I came to U.S. to do my master's in public health. I did my residency at Mount Sinai. And on Miami Beach, it was perfect.
Nice.
I enjoyed the weather. I love the weather. I'm here since then. And then after my residency, I started working in an urgent care clinic for like a few months, and that's when I was introduced to house-based primary care practice here, and I kind of liked it because when I was during my med school back home or when I was in school, like, I used to have like a doctor that comes to my home to take care of my
Sure.
grandmother. So I have seen that, and I thought that was like really the best thing that could have happened to, that could my grandmother could get it. And I really, when I did that here, I kind of enjoyed it. And then that's how I got approached by Harmony Care, and then they were opening their office in Plantation. I thought this is my calling, and I just joined, and ever since then it's a history then.
I feel like there are so many benefits of going to a patient's home. I mean, you can see their lifestyle. You can see, they tell you they're eating certain food, and maybe you see otherwise.
That's so true, because if you really just have a patient come to you in the office, you just have to go by what they say,
right?
And then, of course, patients being very nice to the doctors, they don't want to disappoint their doctors.
Right.
So when we go to the patient's home, like, we really get to see the whole picture of where the surrounding of the patient, because it's not just their health condition, it could be just a surrounding that could be making them sick.
That's
so
true.
As home-based primary care providers, we get to see this firsthand, and then we are able to intervene right at the beginning, before they get complicated, before they end up in a hospital, before they have to go to ER visits just because they couldn't get hold of their primary doctors, or they just didn't want to wait for a few hours in their doctor's office, or they just didn't have a transportation to go to a doctor's office.
Right.
So here we come that, we go to the patient's home, in their comfort, in their privacy, and I think that would be the best thing any patient would hope to have, in American healthcare system.
Yes, absolutely. And I think more people are more inclined to wanting that, because from my experience and other people that I've spoken to, it's like, you have to sit in the doctor's office for an hour and a half, and you got to wait, and then you get impatient, and then you see the doctor, and maybe they only have 10 minutes for you. So this feels like it's just more individualized.
It's very individualized. Like, we spend at least like 30 to 40 minutes with our patients.
It's important.
And it's just not that we come in, we just say hi, get the vitals, and we are out. We just stay there, we kind of review everything. We kind of actually do like kind of a coordination of all their specialist care, because we as primary, when we are with our patients in their home, we actually talk to them, talk to their caregivers, talk to their family members, who will give us a lot of information on our patient, Because imagine if like a patient has dementia and they just end up in a doctor's office, there's only so much information you can get from the person as, patient as such. But if you reach out to the family, the caregivers, that's what we do when we are at their home. We talk to every family member about the patient, and that gives us a lot of information, and that really helps us in kind of coordinating their care, making sure we give the best care that they deserve.
It's really the bigger picture.
It's a bigger picture.
Yeah, and then you may want to even recommend something from an observation. You might say, coming up these stairs, I don't know, they were dangerous or something.
So I'll give you.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you also, because people, I'm sure, are probably going to want to ask, okay, so you're going to their home. What do you come with?
So
what does your van look like?
Exactly. But that's a very good question. Like, everyone is very
Sure.
curious, what is this home-based primary care package looks like. So every provider in our office is paired with a medical assistant. So we go out with a medical assistant because, again, we want to be, make sure there's a safety of the providers as well as, the safety of the patients. So we go with our medical assistants, and our medical assistant basically does the vitals. They do the labs. We do the labs at the patient's home. We draw their blood and we send it to our corporate lab in Michigan.
Nice.
So we get in all the lab results within 2 days. We get all the results. And say if our patient needs a X-ray or an EKG, or an ultrasound, we have a third-party company that we, collaborate with, that we can send them right on the same day if it's a stat. Like, some patient needs a stat ultrasound, just so that we can make sure that they don't have to go to the ER. So, all of our efforts are along the focus of avoiding the unnecessary ER visits, reducing their hospital admissions, thereby making them, healthy in their home setting and giving them an improved quality of life and a higher patient satisfaction,
So what is the age range of the patients that you
it's
see?
mostly adult. So anyone above the age of 20 until my oldest, I would say one of my oldest patients is 106. So
Wow,
there you go. So that's the age
amazing.
range,
That's
So
amazing.
it's really good,
And what type of insurance are you able to accept?
We typically take all Medicares, Medicaid, and most of the majority commercial insurances. So what I would really suggest all my patients would be just send those information to our office, to our community community liaison, and we can verify. And sometimes patients or us, we may not be aware of the full benefits that they have, and upon verifying their insurance, they may be eligible for our services.
Nice. So how can people, if people are curious, how can they learn more about becoming a patient of Harmony Cares? What would they need to do to say, you know what, this is something I want for my, you can have somebody listening right now, they may want it for their mother or their aunt. What would they need to do?
They can just reach out to my community liaison with the number and the email address. And
Okay.
Sometimes we get a lot of self-referrals, like patients refer themselves to
Yeah.
us. That's a lot happened lately. Sometimes we do get with our community partners like home health, DME companies, hospice groups. Like we partner with a lot of community team members, and this is like a team, right? It's not just a one-person show. We believe in teamwork. We believe in collaboration. So we, as a whole team, we kind of help our patients to have a good quality of life.
Yeah, and so I'm just going to repeat because there are probably people right now driving and they're going to want your information. So your phone number is 954-540-2344 if you're wanting to become a patient of Harmony Cares Medical Group. And you can also email at lebrown@harmonycares.com. I believe this resurgence in home care is on the rise.
On the rise, definitely. There's no questions asked on that, because lots and lots of patients are really looking into having a doctor come to their home, because for various reasons, with everything going on, they don't have a good transportation system. The family member not being available to take the elderly parents to the doctor's office. I think this is the future.
That really is another valid point, because as we age and family is taking care, working kids are taking care of their parents, and maybe they decide, you know what, you can't drive anymore.
Exactly.
We want you safe. You can't drive, and so it really also alleviates the child, the adult child, I should say, who needs to.
Exactly. I mean, imagine a scenario where the elderly parent have to use a walker, and with all this moving from home to the car to the doctor's office, there's a high risk for them to fall. And we have a lot of incidents where one of them biggest cause for them to be hospitalized, then the worsening of their health conditions are frequent falls that they have. So imagine if they have to go through all this process to get to a doctor's office, and then it really takes a good toll on them. And here we come to them in their home setting. They're very comfortable in their bed, in their chair, in their couch, and we are there.
I can totally sympathize with that. I literally recently fell down the stairs, okay, and I'm like, wow, if I were 15, 20, 30 years older, this would have been a lot worse as far as getting around and not having the mobility,
And that's also one of the things that we do when we go to their home. We actually look for their home surrounding to see if that's really safe for them. Most of our elderly patients, one of their biggest challenges that they lose their balance, they trip, and then we really want to make sure it's really a good, safe surrounding for them in their home. And that's what, I have a lot of my team members, I have a nurse navigator, I have social worker, we send them, there's a lot of community resources that you can tap into, which most of our patients are not aware of. And we, being in their home, evaluating all this, we are able to make those recommendations. And really, our patients really love us, being there.
So let me ask you another question about lifestyle recommendations. As far as, let's say you go to someone's house and they're a little overweight, lifestyle recommendations. What would you consider as a lifestyle?
So every insurance has a lot of covered benefits, which most of the patients are not really aware, because that was never brought in the conversation. I'll give you an example. I had a really morbidly obese patient. When I started seeing that patient, the patient was bedbound, barely getting out of the bed to the chair. even though the patient had a good strength on the legs, but the patient really didn't have enough support. I was able to, order a bariatric wheelchair, bariatric Hoyer lift. Towards the end, I was able to even, refer that patient to a bariatric surgeon and get a bariatric surgery, and now the patient has lost more than 200 pounds.
That's amazing.
And there's a lot of other covered benefits with insurance, like aquatic therapy, aerobics, aquatic therapy, that insurance covers it. Patients doesn't know, and then no one would know until we explored the route, and all this was possible, with me having my nurse navigators, my social worker. We have something called like a huddle in our office. Like every day morning, we talk among the staff of our office. Like when I say staff, we have a practice manager.
Sure.
We have a patient care coordinator that takes care of every patient calls. We have a scheduler who actually schedules all these patients on a timely fashion. And then we have our medical assistant. So, it's a big team that we work.
It takes a team. It takes a team of people because you really want to be able to help them at all levels. So you're getting the support, which I like, because a lot of people, seniors, may not know they have, there are like Silver Sneakers, or I don't know, whatever, these different communities that people want to, work out or do some exercise. People may not be aware of it.
And the other part is, like, sometimes, some of these patients' insurance, they have this eligibility of going to a rehab for like a month to get strengthened on their legs and their arms. So there was a patient that was discharged from a hospital but was barely getting out of the bed to the chair. So I was able to send the patient directly to an inpatient rehab for a month, get good rehab exercise, and then the patient is back home on a walker walking.
Nice.
This is a patient who was not even walking.
We're going to come back in a minute. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but I want to come back and I want you to give me a couple of other success stories that you've had, because I'm sure you've had quite a few.
We have a lot.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break. Thank you. Wonderful.
All County Healthcare has exciting news for any and all patients with COPD or other respiratory ailments. Listen to what renowned pulmonologist Dr. Keith Robinson has to say.
Hello, I'm Dr. Keith Robinson, board-certified pulmonologist, medical director at Fusion Health Pulmonary Rehabilitation, and a board member with the American Lung Association of South Florida. We have exciting news for patients with COPD. We now offer IPV therapy at home, which has been demonstrated to improve airway clearance, decrease hospitalization, and improve quality of life of patients with COPD. Please call All County Healthcare for more information about this FDA-approved therapy.
For further information, call All County Healthcare now at 954-717-7027. That is 954-717-7027, or visit our website at allcountyhealthcare.com. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Remember, All County Healthcare always puts the patient's needs first. You are listening to You and Your Doctor, Living Longer and Healthier, an informative show that helps you find answers to questions you always wanted to ask but did not have that somebody that could make a difference in your life. Call into the show if you have a question at 888-565-1470, and we will put you on the air to inform all our listeners. Now, back to our show.
Welcome back. We are here with Dr. Nair. And we have, you're going to want his information. He is a mobile house doctor. Please take down his number, 954-540-2344. The admin office is in Plantation, 1776 North Pine Island Road, Suite 106 in Plantation, Florida, 33322. But Dr. Nair, can you remind us what are the locations that you travel to? What is your coverage area?
So right from Homestead till West Palm Beach, Tri-County area over here.
Nice.
Yeah.
So just as another reminder, in case someone's tuning in right now, they missed the beginning. Can you remind us what are your hours and
so we typically see all our patients from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. That's our typical working hours where we go to their home and see them. but we are available to talk to our patients over phone till 10 at night, and then after 10 o'clock throughout the night until the next day morning, we have a doctor or a nurse practitioner that is one of the providers who will be on call for the state of Florida. So technically every patient of Harmony Care have access to the doctor 24/7.
Wow. And as we were saying before, you also, when you come to their home, what type of equipment are you bringing?
So,
just to remind the audience.
Right, sure. So we have a medical assistant, who carries all the lab work, everything that needs to be, we have to do labs. He carries everything. We do the vitals, and then if the patient needs any, ear examination, eye examination, we do all that. We carry instruments to do all that. Sometimes we even do a ear lavage, like if they have like impacted wax in the ears, like most of elderly patients have, hearing difficulties. So we kind of do an assessment. We kind of do some of these procedures, minor procedures in their home, and say if they need an X-ray or an ultrasound, and they are not mobile, we always have a third-party company that we collaborate with that will go to their home and do these X-rays and ultrasound and provide us the information in a real time. They will call us right then and there to say that, Dr. Nair, this is okay, or I found a blood clot in the vein, and that in the artery. So those are the kind of information we get in a real time, and we are able to do what is needed to be done for our patients in real time.
And what I like most about that is I feel that because you're collaborating with other of your network, you're all kind of on the same page.
Yes.
So it's not like you have, when one goes to see a doctor and then they do different things. It's really keeps it more succinct, I believe.
And we are actually in a very close communication with most of the hospital around. So example, like there are some instances where and hospitalizations are not unavoidable, like it's unavoidable, like if a patient has a chest pain or a stroke, they have to go to the hospital. But then, as their primary care doctors, we really advocate for our patients. So we are in constant communication with this hospital case managers. Sometimes we even call the hospital doctors just to check on to see everything is okay.
I like that.
And when the patient gets out of the hospital let us know that the patient has been discharged, and then we go and see our patient within 24 to 48 hours.
Wow.
So, that is really key for us to kind of see our patient post-hospital so that we can avoid any readmissions, because sometimes they may not have all the medication that they need to take after hospitalization. So we being there in their home, we are able to kind of make sure that they have everything. They have the home health, they have a nurse to come and check on them, at least every day for the first few days. They have if they have a wound on their back or a pressure sores, we kind of coordinate the wound care team. They come and do a wound care on a daily wound care basis.
Wow. Physical
therapy, occupational therapy, you name it, like whatever they need.
Sure.
We go in and we make sure we put all those orders in, and we make sure that everyone comes to the patient's home. The whole goal is we all want to avoid those readmissions, because that's not in the best interest of our patients. They want to be in their home. That's what makes them happy. That's what gives the best quality of life that they deserve. So our goal is to kind of avoid any unwanted ER visits or hospitalization.
That's great. And can you remind our listeners, because some people have been going to doctors their whole life, and can you remind them, because I think you had mentioned that I think that even insurance companies now are advocating for you.
So we are an ACO, physician-led ACO practice, which means we are heavily regulated by, or we go by Medicare CMS guidelines.
Right.
Whatever we do is within the CMS guidelines now. So we actually have proved in the past that by doing this home-based primary care practice, we have able to share a lot of money for Medicare by just avoiding this unwanted ER visits and hospitalizations with our patients. And it's a proved fact, and there's a lot of studies out there. There's a lot of studies that have been done about the effectiveness of and cost effectiveness of home-based primary care practice, and how patients perceive this and what is their satisfaction level. And it's an improved satisfaction level, a better health outcome, and the family and the caregiver, less stress on the caregiver and less health burden on their family members as well. So now, looking at what we have able to accomplish in the community across the state, there are a lot of other private insurance are kind of coming into this kind of program where they are referring patients to us. They want us to go and take care of their patients because Most of them are not able to reach out to their primary
Right.
doctors, and they just go to the ER for like a UTI
Yeah.
or a COPD exacerbation
just-
or a just congestive heart
Yeah.
failure, which all could have been managed at home, you know.
Agreed, agreed. Wow. So before we end, I just want to remind everybody, Harmony Cares Medical Group, you can reach out. Dr. Nair is obviously very experienced, and it sounds like your patients really, really
You know,
love you.
I mean, I've been blessed. I would say
Sounds-
this. I've been blessed of having all the amazing patients.
Yes, I'm sure they feel the same about you. So please take down his number before we go. I want to give it to you, 954-540-2344. You can email directly to lebrown@harmonycares.com. And the admin office is right here in Plantation, 1776 North Pine Island Road, Suite 106, Plantation, Florida, 33322. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of You and Your Doctor. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming on the
Thank
show.
you.
I
Thank you
appreciate
anytime.
you.
It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Likewise. It's been a pleasure.
Share with you
Thank
a longer and